unbeatable, I'm unbeatable.
Couple minutes not a score. Every time they wanna clash, the winners kicking through the door. I am unbeatable. Chances running out of stop, and we're running out the clock. I fail once, never stop. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah.
Welcome to the National Basketball Performance Centre in Manchester for this British Basketball League Championship matchup between the Manchester Giants and the Surrey Scorchers. Manchester are in a slump, and they couldn't have timed it worse. Their 7-game losing streak is the longest current losing streak in the league. Can they turn it around and keep their faint hopes of making a last-ditch playoff push alive? Brian Simonian will be reminding his players that the last time Surrey visited, they battled to a 2-point victory. Surrey will be looking to elevate themselves out of 8th spot in the league. If they stay there, they will face the imperious London Lions in the playoffs. The Surrey Scorchers lead the series 2-1 this season, and they hammered tonight's opponents by 26 points last time they met. Lloyd Gardner's men are 6-4 in their last 10 and are just 2 wins away from the playoff qualification. Welcome wherever you're watching live on the British Basketball League YouTube channel in the UK and in the USA. The Manchester Giants take on the Surrey Scorchers. Well, here we are at the National Basketball Performance Centre. My name is Tahir Haja. Alongside, joining me is Azania Stewart in the booth today. We're looking forward to a great game between these two teams fighting for playoff position. Surrey Scorchers currently hold that position, but Manchester Giants, they're fighting now to see if they can take that opportunity to move forward in this year's competition. Azania, pivotal game tonight.
Huge, and like you said, a playoff game, 8 versus 9 in the table. They've played each other. This will be the 4th time that they're playing each other, so they know each other very well. But Manchester at home, and they play, really well when their crowd is in town.
Well, look, Manchester, if they win this match, they need to win a number of their upcoming games. In fact, if not all of them. Can they do that? Are they up to the task?
I think it's going to be really difficult, and I think through this season they've just been so inconsistent, so up and down. They've had so many injuries, but for the first time they've got their roster nice and healthy, so that should give them confidence.
Well, this is first of 2 games for the Surrey Scorchers. Now, right here in Manchester at the National Basketball Performance Centre. Then tomorrow, they're on the road against the Newcastle Eagles.
I think that's really difficult, especially travelling that far up north to Newcastle, but you've just got to worry about tonight's game. You can't think about how long this road trip is. 1 game at a time, 1 possession at a time to here. Don't overthink it and just play. This game's important, right? This is what they need to win tonight.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a great crowd in the arena. The standings, the all-important standings, are key. Let's take a quick look at those standings for you now on your screens. Avoiding 8th position for those teams at the lower end of the table is important because they will face off against the number 1 seed, the London Lions. If you can see the queue next to the teams that are already qualified in positions 1 to 5, that isn't the final standings from 2 to 8 onwards. Exciting times, really, to see at the end of this season.
No, huge. Exactly what you want in this part of the season, and you want to be playing your best basketball.
Well, let's take a look at some of the fixtures that are coming up over this weekend. As mentioned, that big game for the Surrey Scorchers tomorrow as they travel to the Newcastle Eagles, but live on Sky Sports will be the Leicester Riders taking on the Caledonia Gladiators. You'll be in the booth for that one, Azania.
I sure will. Double. I'm working hard too, just like Manchester.
Well, look, we're going to have a quick break now before we give you some more analysis between these two teams, so join us very, very shortly. live at the National Basketball Performance Centre in Manchester. The Surrey Scorchers are on the road taking on the Manchester Giants, and the teams are being introduced to the floor. But we're going to look at some individual talent at this moment in time. Let's take a look at the Giants roster, and let's take a look at Jamel Anderson.
Jamel Anderson, he's coming off an all-star weekend with his wife and his daughter. His wife was an all-star too, which is fantastic. He's finally, struggled with some injuries. So glad to see him back. Points per game, 15. I think it's a huge part of this Manchester team if he can get going offensively, but also he's long, he's lean, he plays fantastic defense. He's got to play well tonight.
Well, another baller couple is Rachel James and William Lee, who've recently had a newborn, but William Lee looking to fire off.
Yeah, and for me, I think it's so important. There is 13 points per game and nearly 8 rebounds. He's got to get into his jump shot. He's got to get, aggressive. He's got to be that second scorer. And to be honest, he's got to get going early. He cannot wait around. When he plays well, Manchester plays well.
Well, for the Surrey Scorchers, Padilla Wang, a man who has all-star caliber, took part in the all-star weekend, Azania. They'll be looking to him to put the ball in the bucket a number of times to get points on the board.
Well, that's for sure. He was an all-star for a reason. He had 13 points and the South won in the all-star game. There he is, points per game, 11. And also those assists. He does so well driving into the paint. Obviously, he can get his own bucket, but then he can kick out to a Quinn Cooper, who's a shooter. That's important. That's how he starts the game.
One news just coming through on social media for the Surrey Scorchers: Emeka Obukwelu out for the season with an Achilles injuries during practice. Saquon Jamison, and the responsibility falls back on his shoulders again. The man big on the boards.
Yeah, huge. There he is, double king, 10 points and 10 rebounds, and that's why he's so dominant. If anyone misses a shot on his team, he's hitting the boards, so aggressive. He's got to find his offensive finishing. I feel like sometimes he struggles around the rim. He's got to make sure he puts the defender and the ball in the bucket.
Well, the coach is looking forward to leading their charge. Coach Brian Simonian knows that it's do or die for the Manchester Giants. They've got to get the job done tonight. And for Coach Lloyd Garner, he'll be looking to ensure that the Surrey Scorchers make the playoffs this season and, if possible, climb up the championship standings a little more to avoid the London Lions. Well, we're going to head to a break now. Oh, apologies, we're not going to head to a break now. We're actually going to have a look at the starting fives. Where do you think I'm going, trying to take some time off early? Let's have a look. Starting fives then, the Manchester Giants. They will start as follows: Jamel Anderson, Nick Lewis, William Lee, Legion Robertin and Mason Borsier. A fully fit roster for the Manchester Giants. First time in nearly 3 months that they've had a fully fit roster. For the Surrey Scorchers, of course, they're missing the big man Obukwelu through a season-ending injury, but they'll line up as follows: Josh Steele, Saquon Jamison, Padilla Wang, Abdul Mohammed and Cam Gooden will be the starting five for the Surrey Scorchers. Well, it's time to hear from those coaches. Let's hear their thoughts ahead of today's bumper clash. Coach Brian Simonian of the Manchester Giants, tonight's fixture, do or die really for the playoff race?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We have a sense of urgency to tonight. It showed in our training this week, and the fellows are already excited to be in the gym. So definitely some urgency for us tonight.
Late season, every game is big. Pretty much this would guarantee us playoff spot with the head-to-head over them. So big game for us, big game for them, as you said.
We're excited because this is the first time we've had a healthy roster in probably like 3 months. We have everybody healthy tonight, so everybody's really excited to get some playing time because we haven't been healthy like this in a long time.
We played them 3 times, so lots of teams in this league. You get to find out about the opposition. We know that they're difficult at home here. That if they get out in transition, if they can get easy points, and they're a tough team to play against. They've got some good wins this season, so I don't think we're underestimating how good Manchester can be.
We know each other really well. At this point of the season, it's about executing and being disciplined on both ends because neither team's really going to bring any surprises. So as long as we do what we know what we need to do on both ends of the floor and come out executing regularly, I think we'll be all right.
What's your priority right now? Making sure that you're in that playoff position, or you're trying to get out of the 8th position to avoid London Lions?
Well, step by step, right? First of all is to make the playoffs. That's a big step for us as a club after the last couple of years. So if we can do that, then you know, we're delighted. As I said, you know, if we can get a win here today, maybe that will kind of guarantee that for us. And then after that, it's about looking up. Something we've talked about internally is getting to the point where we're not looking down. We're looking, you know, looking at the teams above us and trying to chase them down rather than worrying about the teams that are below us.
Manchester Giants are 1-9 in their last 10 games. They have the worst home record. They have the worst away record in the league. Things aren't in their favour, but they've had this all-star break to realign, Azania.
Yeah, and I think that's important to have a moment to come together. But Simonis talks about the urgency, and I think that's a great point. I hope he really pushes that in the locker room. Hey, boys, we've got to start well. We've got to start strong. And then, you know, Coach Gardner talks about the step-by-step. They have been struggling the last couple of seasons where they haven't made the playoffs. So I don't think they're looking too far ahead that, okay, if they're stuck in the 8th spot, they have to play London Lions. They want to just make the playoffs.
Well, Surrey Scorchers, we know they like to light it up from behind the heart. I know Obekwelu's not going to be in the lineup, but they've still got flamethrowers on the perimeter.
Yeah, and I think they love to shoot from the three, and that's what Manchester need to watch out for.
Well, we're going to go to a break because now it is time to get tip-off underway. Join us right after this. Welcome back. The National Basketball Performance Centre is the stage for the matchup between the Surrey Scorchers and the Manchester Giants. Here's your officials for today: crew chief Josh Bone, referee Kate Unsworth and Tom Muddiman. My name is Tahir Hajar alongside Azania Stewart. We'll be taking you through this one, our viewers in the UK and the US of A. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you are all around the world. The battle for 8th place. Surrey Scorchers very much have the advantage. 2-1 in the head-to-head against the Manchester Giants, and 3-1 will almost seal it for them. One more fixture needs to run in their favour, which is the Plymouth City Patriots taking on the Leicester Riders. If Plymouth lose, Surrey Scorchers confirmed in the playoffs if they defeat Manchester Giants today.
Well, the last time they played, it was only a 4-point game, and the game before that was a 2-point game. I think this is going to go down to the wire.
Well, we're ready to get things underway. Saquon Jameson, Legion Robertin ready for the tip, and it looks like someone overstepped the mark, so it'll be a Surrey Scorchers possession to start the sideline. Not the best of start to this game for these two teams, Azania.
No, and Kate Unsworth all over it, and she actually was an all-star referee, so congratulations to her.
Coach Lloyd Gardner there, ready to get behind his team today. And in fact, they're actually checking the game ball right now. And trying to see if they can get the correct game ball. Well, Azania, I'm going to throw to your experience here of being a former professional player, checking if the game ball's right, and it's a vital tool.
Yeah, but well, I'm not sure what's going on. You usually have that check done very early. You know, they come up to the captain or the point guard usually. They'll bring the game ball. Do you like this ball? They'll bounce it around. I mean, how can you not be happy? It's game time.
Well, I think they are making sure that they are happy with this new basketball.
Right, there it is.
And the bounce pass went straight into the hands of the referee, caught it. No excuses now. If the referee can catch the ball, we're good to go. Here is Gooden then, who will start the first possession off in this game. Surrey Scorchers on the road, as mentioned earlier on in the broadcast. One of two, back-to-back. They play against the Newcastle Eagles tomorrow, and a shot clock violation. Abdul Mohammed, hands in the air. The buzzer did go pretty quickly there, Zania.
Yeah, very, very quick. It started on a 14-second clock. I'm not really too sure what's going on. And Anderson, though, matching up with Wang, I kind of really interested to see how that matchup goes on the other end.
Well, here's William Lee. Handoff now to Jamel Anderson. Back to basket. One-on-one with Mohammed. Jamel Anderson getting inside and tipping it in off his own miss for two.
Yeah, good start from him. I love that he's aggressive. Then Mohammed comes right back down, and this is where Surrey is dangerous. In the transition game, even though Manchester scored, doesn't matter. They're getting the ball out and in quick and down the other end.
Well, the foul is called there on Nick Lewis. His first personal foul, first team foul of the game. Abdul Mohammed goes to the free throw line. As Mohammed knocks down the first of those two shots. All of the Surrey Scorchers team came to support the All-Star game, number of them in attendance.
Yeah, I love that. I think a lot of the guys from most of the teams came to support their guys. I think it was great atmosphere, and hasn't been done for a long time.
William Lee going up, airballs that one. Abdul Mohammed gets his hands onto the ball. Wang puts his head down, looks to the corner to find Steele. The ball rotates, and nice deflection there from Nick Lewis as goes out of bounds. 9 minutes on the game clock, 14 on the shot clock, sideline for the Scorchers. Clean slate for the Manchester Giants, though, Azania.
Yeah, but Jameson just making that pass way too easy for Lewis to get his hands in. But look at this matchup, I like it, that Anderson is taking it upon himself to guard a guy like Wang.
Wang, down low into Jameson. To the right hand, Jameson misses that one. A bit of calibration required from these two teams as Nick Lewis gets up the three. Steele skips it up, and there we go. It wasn't looking too good with a few air balls and misses, but Padil Wang says, hello, let's get this game started.
And brings the All-Star Weekend highlight reel straight to the game. Great pass, good finish by him.
Borsier. Leisure Robert in mid-range, knocks that down for two.
That's important that he does. They're leaving him wide open. He's got to shoot that shot.
Wang. Kicks it out. Abdul Mohammed finds Steele in the corner for three, and now everything's falling for these two teams.
Yeah, wide open from Steele. When he has his feet set like that, he's nothing but net. Good start.
Lewis, inside to the right hand, gets the roll.
That was pretty, wasn't it? Hung in the air, little clutch.
And line possession here now for the Scorchers after the bucket. Let's take a look back at this jam. Steele with the vision. Wang sneaking in through the back door. Somebody left it open. Wang. Gooden. Steele off the dribble. All movement's good here. As good and knocks down the triple now for the Surrey Scorchers.
Yeah, and he really could have shot the first one he had. He was wide open, but that one in rhythm. They moved the ball around. Manchester need to answer here.
Borsier. Down low to William Lee. Right hand shot, good to go for William Lee.
Yeah, good defense, better offense. Jameson was right there to double him. Strong finish.
Steele. Firing up a triple, that one.
That's one thing Surrey's going to do. They lead the league in attempts at the three-point.
Rattles in and out. He's good and now trying to look forward. Gets it ahead. There's numbers here. Jameson. There's a little bit more room than he was expected. William Lee picks his pocket straight away.
Why didn't he go up with that? It was wide open.
It was almost too open.
It was too open.
Here's Lewis. It was too good to be true. Lewis pulling up. Was that a pass or a shot? Robertin will say that's an assist. So he finishes inside to tie things up early on here. Rather sparse crowd in Manchester on this Thursday night as Gooden goes to the right hand for two.
Good job by Gooden.
You know what, Azania, I have to say, you know, Cam Gooden, I hadn't been particularly impressed with his season so far for the Surrey Scorchers. He had a little bit of time out injured. His consistency for me hasn't been great. He started, though, well in this game. He had some valuable assets, but I'm still not sold.
Yeah, but he's kind of, you know, he's a starter now. He's more aggressive there. And Justin Robinson and Andrew are on the bench. So he's got to step up. He's got, you know, a few good solid minutes. Be aggressive. Look to be, you know, a great point guard on this floor and lead this team.
Well, Wang tries to find the entry pass into Steele, but now Manchester on the brink. Head tap, Jamel Anderson letting him know, Padilla Wang, don't come in my airspace.
And I love that. You know, got out in transition. You've got to show who's boss and whose house it is.
These players feeling bouncy after All-Star. That's what we like to see. Couple highlights early doors. Gooden. Steele, pull up for three. Does he get the friendly bounce? No. Jameson, though, big on the boards. Gets the and one.
And that's where Jameson works so hard. Always, you know, getting the extra possessions.
We're going to take a quick break here. All square at 12 apiece. Join us right after this. Back after the break and onto the free throw line. But before that, check this out. Jamel Anderson running the floor like he's 21 again.
Yeah, but it started from that defense. He outran everyone down the floor, stole the ball. Good energy from Anderson.
Well, the score's been corrected. Saquon Jameson with his offensive rebound and the bucket to go. He's over 400 career rebounds.
Massive, huge. And that's what Surrey's going to need from him. He just works so hard. He's a workhorse. He's a magnet to the ball, constantly fighting for the ball.
Misses that free throw. He's just over 50% this season from the free throw line. As Nick Lewis, guarded by Gooden. Screen comes now from Austin Lawton. Anderson goes underneath the bucket at Josh Steele, draws the contact. Was really in no man's land there, Anderson.
Yeah.
Still bails him out.
Yeah, he had him exactly where he wanted, behind the basket, on the baseline. If he just kept his hands out.
It was that arm-to-arm contact on the swing as well,
Yeah.
wasn't it, Azania?
Yeah, Anderson wanted it a bit earlier, but I think that was good defense. But he's made his way to the free throw line.
Anderson knocks down the first. Two for two, over 77% this season, has been to the line 117 times this year. As Robinson's into the game for the first time. Justin Robinson snaps it behind the back there.
If he had hit that, put that on the highlight, that was lovely.
Lewis. Staggered screen action on the right-hand side. Ball screen from Lawton, who rolls. Lewis goes up. Probably could have dished it inside to Lawton as Abdul Mohammed evades the defender and finishes for two.
Yeah, I told you, the transition game from Surrey. They get out to the races, they run a track meet, that's for sure. And that's where Manchester have to get back on the defensive end.
Nick Lewis going downhill again. Foul called and almost gets the home rim roll. Okay, Unsworth call that foul on Justin Robinson.
Just a bit too much, you know, bump, the aggressiveness.
He's talking over the details with Kate Unsworth. A man from Brixton, never giving up on the play.
No, never, that's what I was going to say. One, I never see Justin Robinson not talk to the referee, and two, a referee's never really changed their mind, even if you do have a little chat with them. But
I will say never ever change their mind, unless like they've got video replay and or it's an obvious mistake, and that ref ain't changing their mind. And the sooner you let that go, the better, right?
yeah, I think so.
Well, here is Justin Robinson, shaking off that last call, ready to command the offense here. Mohammed back to the handoff with Robinson. Lawrence also into the game.
They're two vets right there.
Saquon Jameson to the spin, powering his way to the bucket.
Spin cycle, that was a beautiful, tough move, and the bump. Jameson playing very well right now.
Up top to try and find Anderson from Borsier.
It's too late.
Wasn't a great pass. Robinson now to find Steele, the ball moving like clockwork. Abdul Mohammed, there was only one end result of that, and that's a triple when you're watching the Surrey Scorchers.
That's beautiful basketball. The ball went inside, kicked it back out, round the rim, and lovely finish from Mohammed.
One touch passing. Now interception, Lawrence all alone. Nick Lewis trying to chase him down, but Abdul Mohammed on clean-up duty, taking out the trash. And there's going to be a timeout called here with 2 minutes 40 on the clock as Surrey Scorchers start to open up the gap to 8.
And it's been from their defensive end. You know, they're playing tough defense, making it difficult for Manchester. But like I said, they run a track meet. Look at this bad pass. They're out to the races. Look, they're outrunning Manchester. And then they get to the rim. They pass. This was lovely basketball. Wide open shooter in the corner. And the last here, Lewis runs down the shot. But, you know, there's Mohammed to clean up.
Mohammed on the boards. Again in the bucket, 7 points personal. In fact, that's 9 points personal for him. It's the last 4 results for these two, or should I say some of the Surrey Scorchers. They lost against the Sheffield Sharks. They won against the Bristol Flyers, confirming their clean sweep of the Flyers this season. Won against the Manchester Giants by 4, and then lost on the road to the Caledonian Gladiators. Now for the Manchester Giants, there's no such luck for them. They've lost their last 4 games. In fact, they've lost their last 7. And those are the last 4 recent losses that they've had. All relatively heavy losses apart from that game against the Surrey Scorchers.
Yeah, I just think they've really struggled, and I think that last 4 games obviously is an example of it. They haven't been consistent. I think they've struggled on the coaching side, on leadership. They're a really young team. It's been a really difficult season for them, but they have great moments, great, you know, shining parts where you can see that they could be a top team. But it's just been the consistent effort, the consistent in their offense. I feel like sometimes it's been a lot of one-on-one. Today they're looking much better though.
Anderson locked away by Mohammed, who's having a great first quarter here. Robinson. Luke Okosieme into the game as Lawrence fires that one up. Got a piece of it. Now they're out running here. Nick Lewis trying to dump it off into Lawton. It's no good this time. Evan Walsh just checked into the game. Fresh off a Bucks victory in the finals with Manchester Met University. And he was the most valuable player in that game. As Jamel Anderson fires the one up, and there it is, cash money.
He did nothing but net.
Robinson. CMA sets the ball screen. Handoff now to Wang. Skipped across. Mohammed. Robinson. He waits a moment. Lets it go. And a chase for the boards. Mohammed underneath. Robertin, or should I say Lawton, patrolling the skies.
Body's flying. And a good foul. Andrew Lawrence to stop the transition.
A blocking foul is called here. If you saw the sideline there, Coach Brian Simonian was asking for an unsportsmanlike foul.
I don't think so. I think he was in the way, played the ball. It was a dangerous play. It was a vet move right there.
Stampley. Knocked away from his possession. Great hands there from Andrew Lawrence. Opts to slow things down, the right decision, but Padilla Wang has some room here. You can't stop him. He's going to the bucket. He misses that shot. He's a little annoyed with himself, but goes to the line for 2.
Yeah, he skipped out of that. He shot the ball with his right hand. Should have shot it with his left.
Coach Z there.
Oh, sorry. He's kicking in, isn't it?
That's all right.
He's kicking in.
Fundamentals is fundamentals.
And people don't realise, you know, stuff like that. But Manchester did a much better job that time getting back in defense on transition. And then Wang just way too fast. Gets the rim.
Elliot Bailey into the game alongside number 27, Quinn Cooper. The lights out shooter.
It's important that Manchester don't lose him ever. Ever. Do you hear me to him? Because he is such a good shooter. Especially how they play, you know, get the ball inside with Wang and then kick it out. I spoke about
it. I mean, listen, Azani, this is why the Surrey Scorchers kit is camouflage, because he just spots up and snipes.
There you go. Another silly turnover. And this is where the discipline, the execution just lets down Manchester.
Here is Wang on the sideline, ready to inbound. 1 minute, 10 seconds remaining in this one. Lawrence. Cooper, catch and shoot. There it is. Just what it says on the tin.
Exactly, and that will be the top of the scouting report.
There's a foul there as Abdul Mohammed is tricked into rising up. Lawton Draws the contact. Still Norton called for that one.
Here it is. Good dive down from him. Takes out everyone like a bowling ball. Gets Mohammed up in the air.
Norton to the line. Austin Norton. Man. He was from, I don't really know how to pronounce this, Utahville? Is that how you'd say it? Utahville.
Utahville.
Yeah. In the United States, attended Claflin University, NCAA Division II. Spent some time in Eredivisie in Holland, the Netherlands.
Sorry, turn over the ball.
Jamal Anderson fires one up. Mohammed. Cooper steps inside. Quinn Cooper.
There's not many mid-range jump shots we see from Cooper, but they run him off the three-point line.
That's out of bounds, a Giants ball. (18-30) the score, 26.5 on the clock. Not looking good for the Manchester Giants as Stampley is inside. Foul is called as Bailey rises up. Blocking foul, 2 shots to come. To the bench there, Nick Lewis. Nisha Robertin, the most positive of body languages. Right there and then. Got to do the work on the defensive end though, Manchester. They've allowed Surrey to put 30 on the board.
Way too many in the first quarter. They're going to have to really tighten up, but it's from the transition. You know, they're turning over the ball, and Surrey are just punishing them every single time.
Stanley misses the second. Defensive rebound now for Padilla Wang. Lawrence. Wang. Foul is called here. Stampley making a contact.
Yeah, and a silly foul because the shot clock was on 2 seconds. They're about to have a shot clock violation and get the ball back in instead. Now the shot clock's off and they're going to have a last chance, and they're going to take a timeout and draw up and execute a play and potentially be up, you know, up a 2 or a 3.
Take a guess. Take your bets.
I'm going to go for a 3.
Oh dear. Coach Louis Garner will be drawing something up here for the Surrey Scorchers to see if they can pile on more pressure to the Manchester Giants. Let's take a look at the next 4 fixtures between these two teams. For the Manchester Giants, no easy road for them. They're at home against the B-Brawn Sheffield Sharks, then away against the Plymouth City Patriots, then at home again against the Sharks one more time before heading on the road back to the southwest to take on the Bristol Flyers. Those 4 fixtures, I mean, if they lose tonight,
Yeah.
it's really going to be an exhibition show for the remainder of the season for them.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get the dub, those games are, you know, it's not the difficult part of the table.
Well, I mean, for the Surrey Scorchers, these are pivotal games in the standings. They can beat Newcastle, they can beat Gladiators, they can beat Cheshire as well on their day. And it'll be a really tough few fixtures coming up for them. But if they want to climb the standings and get into a good playoff position, that's what needs to be done.
Okay, well, let's see what Coach Gardner has drawn up. Let's see if his team can execute.
Wang, fade away. The highest percentages of shot there, but nonetheless, the Surrey Scorchers will be pleased as they are in the lead, 30-19 on the road. The second quarter coming up right after this break. Surrey Scorchers on top, and thanks to this man, in part, Abdul Mohammed, 9 points, 3 rebounds, assist for him so far in this game. He's only missed 1 shot. He's had a big game so far.
Yeah, and all of his shots have been in rhythm, so I'm really happy for him. Surrey here changing up their defense, going into a little bit of a zone.
Let's see how Manchester respond. William Lee goes mid-range, or should I say long range, for 2.
And that's William Lee at his finest. That's the shots he's got to shoot, excuse me. And now Manchester giving a bit of Surrey their own taste of medicine in the zone.
Lawrence misses the 3. Sideline, Manchester get it back. Was a deep 3 from Lawrence. Not out of his range at all. And I know that you mentioned, you know, William Lee, in this season we're used to seeing him shoot those mid-range, long-range jumpers. But in previous seasons when he was at the Leicester Riders, we were used to seeing him play above the rim, absolutely fly. I'd like to see that again from him.
Yeah, just kind of stretch his game out. Doesn't get to the rim as much.
It's definitely what his team needs from him. There's Saquon Jameson. Pulls that one down. Lawrence feeds Jameson. One-on-one with Stampley. Tries to go for the no-look pass to the corner to Cooper. Walsh, Nick Lewis, you already know. He's going to let that one fly, and Wang picks the boards. And they go 3v1 here, Quinn Cooper. No need for the 3v1. I'm just going to pull up.
Why didn't Anderson run out to him? That's exactly what Cooper wants. He loves that transition, runs into a rhythm 3. 50% from the three-point line, 5 from 10. Surrey absolutely hot from the three-point line.
Jamal Anderson doing his best to try and negate that stat, but to no avail on that 3-point opportunity. Here's Wang. Cooper. And Lawrence. Wang now trying to
Post up.
Yeah. Nick Lewis doing a great job of fronting him, and now gets behind him, and Wang spills the ball. Walsh driving, and a blocking foul called here. I believe that will be called on Bailey. I think Walsh got a little bit lucky there. I thought the bounce pass was on to Jamal Anderson as he was cutting to the basket.
Yeah, let's have a look. We get the luxury of seeing the play again.
Not quite sure about that call. He looked like he was pretty set. He was outside the charge circle. Walsh will be the benefactor of that situation, though, and knocks down the first.
That's what Walsh likes to do, doesn't he? Puts his head down, he's strong, and gets to the rim. That's why he was the MVP of his Bucks game.
Averaging double digits this season as well. Young British guard.
Full court press from Manchester.
And they turn their fortunes around. Here's Gooden. Three more for Gooden. Rolls around the rim, rebounded by Lee. Walsh at speed once again. Lewis was underneath the bucket, got to him a little late. Draws out Bailey. Likes the look of this matchup. Nick Lewis is going to go to work. In fact, kicks it to Stampley. Way off. No comment, Azania? No, yeah, all right. Say nothing. Here we go. Ball comes back into play with Gooden.
Next possession, they've got to get a defensive stop after that. They cannot afford for Surrey to keep piling on the points.
Gooden. Jameson tries to hand it off inside to Bailey.
Tough pass.
Yeah, but also Scorchers have been a little bit sloppy in this quarter. As William Lee draws the contact again, and Manchester Giants will go to the line once more. They've only scored 3 points in this quarter, the Surrey Scorchers.
Both teams huddle, talk about it. Just a bit sloppy play on both ends. Need to just focus in and lock in. But Lee, a good job from him to get back to the rim. And sometimes, you know, you just need to see the ball go through the hoop and get your rhythm back.
the Alabama Jammer.
Have you ever been to Alabama?
I've never been to
I have.
Alabama. I've had very few trips there. Have you been to Alabama?
I played in the SEC. Alabama was in my conference. Yeah.
What can you tell us about Alabama?
Sweet home. They opened a brand new gym for the women's team, which was wonderful. So they've got their own nice little intimate gym. That's what I can tell you about them. And we gave them an L.
Here's Jameson.
I played for the University of Florida. I should tell the fans.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I played.
Florida sounds more appealing than Alabama. So here is Nick Lewis. Stampley.
Good defense from Surrey, all over Manchester.
So driving and Wang swiping down. That will be called on Wang.
That was great defense, but good job by Anderson. Just seeing a little gap open up, driving. And then the undisciplined of, was it on Wang? Did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, just slapping down.
Well, Abdul Mohammed will step on court. Wang will head to the bench in this one. It's his first personal foul. And Surrey Scorchers letting Manchester back into this game, and Coach Lloyd Gardner.
He looks like that. We get him every week just looking stressed out. His team, honestly.
Well,
Get him a cup of tea and a biscuit.
Well, it's a stressful job being a coach.
It is. You're right. You're right. You're so right. I wouldn't want to be. People always ask me, do you want to be a coach? No, I don't want to be.
You do coaching though.
I do coach, but I don't want to at a high level. It's so difficult. A lot of personalities to, you know, manage.
Good. And another turnover here by Surrey. Evan Walsh driving all the way. No friendly bounce. Rebound for Lee. Blocked away by Mohammed. Lee gets it back. Firing it up. Short shot. Josh Steele, hands on it.
Oh, Mohammed's come up a bit sore there.
Quinn Cooper misses that one. Stampley.
Rolled his ankles, gonna have to run that one off.
Lloyd Gardner ready to get Justin Robinson into the game to try and bring some order to it for the Surrey Scorchers. A level head with experience needed at this moment in time as Nick Lewis fires that one up. Gooden, Jameson, Mohammed, and he'll rattle it in for three to break that deadlock since their last 3 points earlier on in this quarter.
Guess that ankle's just fine.
Anderson trying to get the best of Steele here. Nice hands there from Jameson, knocks it away. 4 versus 1. What they're going to come up with here? A Quinn Cooper 3. A Jameson rebound. No, it's just a Manchester Giants possession. Here's Evan Walsh. 1-on-1, Euro step, Steele. Technical foul given here. That will be called on Evan Walsh for speaking to the referee in a manner which he didn't feel appropriate. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, so join us right after this one, where we'll see how the rest of this second quarter goes. Welcome back. Here is the technical foul that was called against Evan Walsh. There we go. Referee blows his whistle as he protests.
That was
But no call against Josh Steele. The thing is, he dropped his shoulder there, went into Steele, and from that angle, it looks like Josh Steele got the ball.
Yeah, that's what's difficult. But also, if you speak to a referee disrespectfully, they're going to use what's in their pocket, which is a technical foul.
Just carry him around in their pockets.
Yeah,
the refs.
ready to fire.
Right, here we go. Let's get back to the action then. This is a low-scoring second quarter. Surrey put 30 points on the board in the first, only managed 6. And that is partly the reason. Turnovers. Borsier, Nick Lewis. And then they seem to get the ball back every time because field goal percentage from the Manchester Giants is below par as Abdul Mohammed misses that 3. Josh Steele, offensive boards. Okosieme blocked by William Lee.
Good job, Lee, protecting the rim.
Stampley down low, Roberti. Goes with his inside hand for 2. Steele. Inside, Mohammed tries to find Okosieme. This game has got absolutely zero flow, Azania.
You know, and you think there's going to be a wide open layup, and then somebody just comes in and steals the ball. You're right, there's no rhythm. And maybe just overpassing a little bit. Shoot a wide open shot and then they give it in, or a bad pass. And anyway, out of bounds, 7 seconds. They've got plenty of time, Surrey, to get a good shot up.
The lead by 10. Gooden. Long 2. Rebound for Lee. Will be his 10th rebound of the game, William Lee. 5 points away from a double-double. Low to Roberti. Robinson just steals that one away. Abdul Mohammed, he just is being way too complex at this moment in time. Tried to hand it back to Robinson.
Making it so difficult. Just take your 2 steps and go up.
Lee, oh my goodness, tried to rise up on Okosieme. And it will be a Surrey Scorchers possession. Well, I have to say, this second quarter is definitely a huge come down from the All-Star game.
Well, from the first quarter from Surrey, where they were getting out, they were playing fantastic defense, getting out in transition, easy buckets to the rim. Now they're overpassing, overthinking, and really 10 points is nothing. Manchester can, you know, chip away at this lead.
They play against a more efficient team, and it's night over really. The Surrey Scorchers, you play
Such
against
a
the
good
Cheshire,
point.
you play against the Riders, play against the Lions, it's night-night. Robinson, side of the iron, foul is called as the shot clock was winding down. Foul here. Called, I believe, Stampley for a hold. Surrey Scorchers will get another chance on the baseline. Stampley heads to the bench. As he has second personal foul of the game. Jamel Anderson checking back in. He's got 10 points, Jamel Anderson.
He plays a lot of minutes for Manchester. Perfect.
Robinson can't stop the bleeding here.
It's a great play. And his missing becoming contagious.
Well, I believe so. Here is Lawrence. Steele. Who will break the deadlock? It's likely to be Mohammed, but not on this occasion. And a foul called here off the ball. Josh Steele and Jamel Anderson continue to battle in this one. We spoke about you spoke about the Padilla Wang Anderson matchup, but down this side of the floor, Josh Steele and Anderson, they're battling away, former GB teammates as well.
I like it. I like the competition. Steele isn't going to back down, making it really difficult for Anderson, but Steele will have to head to the bench and Wang will come back in.
It's his second personal steal.
Just talking about scoring, we haven't had a bucket in just over 2 minutes.
Borsier finds William Lee, a low-scoring second quarter. Lee fires up the three. Rebound for Mohammed. 8-7 the quarter score. After a 30-19 first quarter, Justin Robinson. Lawrence passes, to nobody. Coach Lloyd Gardner was standing there, and he isn't wearing a Surrey jersey.
He was passing it to Lloyd to shoot, clearly.
Well, if players can't make it, maybe the coach could give it a go.
And I think both of these coaches right now will be, you know, ready to get into the locker room and just have a stern talk with their teams.
Right, you know, in my head,
Yeah.
what I'm thinking is, who's going to give the sternest halftime team talk? That's what I'm thinking at this moment in time, because both teams need a real talking to. One, Surrey Scorchers, because, you know, of their complacency, their rushed approach to scoring the ball.
Yeah.
And then for two, the Manchester Giants, the lack of the ability to capitalize on this opportunity. This is a must-win game, and Surrey Scorchers in the second quarter are giving you every opportunity.
Yeah.
And haven't had the chance.
And they spoke about how urgency was at the top of their list for Manchester, but I just feel like they haven't played like that. And then Surrey is now in the second quarter come down to Manchester's level. Nobody's seen the ball go through the hoop. Nobody's making an easy bucket. It's been a real disaster of a second quarter. So I think both teams need to regroup.
Anderson, foul called here. Foul is called. 2 shots to come.
Offense has definitely dried up, but good. Anderson still being aggressive, putting his head down, getting to the rim, so he'll go to the line for 2.
That is the first bucket since 4 minutes and 4 seconds were on the clock in this second quarter. Anderson knocks down the second, 2 for 2. Makes it an 8-point game once again. Lawrence. Oh, mid-range, and all of a sudden Surrey decide to open up the bucket. It'll be a 1 possession.
And Surrey can't foul. Will send Manchester to the line, so they need to make sure, keep their hands out, move their feet.
Here is Borsier. Somehow's found Nick Lewis. They've got to put the ball up there, really, Manchester Giants, and not quite sure what the controversy is here between the
Either going to
officials.
call a foul or a jump ball.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
The whistle went.
See.
No, great job, good refereeing. They came together, had a chat.
Well, we're going to head to a halftime break now. These two teams definitely need to talk it over. And we'll find out more with some analysis with you right here, live on the British Basketball League YouTube channel and to our viewers in the US right after the break. live British Basketball League Championship action from the National Basketball Performance Centre, where the score is 29-39 after an underwhelming second half, or should I say second quarter, from both of these teams, the Manchester Giants and the Surrey Scorchers. My name is Tahir Hajat, alongside Azania Stewart. Well, all guns blazing in the first quarter, a 19-30 start. Surrey Scorchers on fire from behind the arc, shooting 50%. We saw some big jams, some nice highlight reels. Then all of a sudden, in the second quarter, both teams fell asleep.
Yeah, like you said, 30 points and then only putting up 9 in that second quarter. You're right. I think the contagiousness of missing just started to get overwhelming. I think both teams stopped executing. They got in their feelings. They started talking to the referees. It just got a bit ugly. So I'm actually really happy it's halftime, just so they can regroup, get their stuff together, and get the goals and the game plan back on track, because it just fell apart for both teams.
Well, let's take a look at the halftime stats then and find out the numbers on the boards and if that reflects what we're analysing here. What can you see, Z?
Well, first of all, I'll talk about the turnovers. That's 11 turnovers for Surrey. That's let Manchester, kept the door open.
Well, I will say is they've committed these amount of turnovers, but really and truly they've not benefited of them.
Correct.
6 turnover points from Manchester, and for Surrey Scorchers, they've got 7 points from turnovers.
And then Surrey Scorchers, in Surrey Scorchers style and fashion, they're shooting a better percentage at the 3-point line with 42% than they are at the 2-point line, and then 1 from 8, 12% for Manchester from the 3-point line.
Well, let's take a look at the tail of this half. And as we mentioned, it was all fiery at the beginning between these two teams, because believe it or not, a lot is on the line. A false start. But after that, the party got started. Padilla Wang, the Wang gang, throwing it up. Josh Steele finding him. The throwdown was good to go. Ball movement was on point, and Surrey Scorchers were on fire.
And I think that's where Surrey needs to come back out in the second half. When they were moving the ball, look at this beautiful basketball, sharing the ball, and it made it easy offense. They started well on the defensive end, then got out in transition. That just went in the second quarter. So for me, this first quarter was it was wonderful basketball, in fact. So if I'm them, get back to that.
Then, of course, the Manchester Giants, they tried to fight back. Jamel Anderson tried this out for size. Head taps all around. That was on you, Padilla.
and that was one of their easiest buckets for Manchester. I think for them, they need to clean up a few things. I think their passing has been a bit sloppy. Few passes too close and getting intercepted. And it's only a 10-point game. It's not like it's out of hand. They've just got to concentrate. They've got to execute, and they've got to make sure that that they come out strong in this second half. Their playoff vote is over, right? Their chances.
Well, of course. I mean, if Manchester Giants, continue like this, then yeah, their playoff hopes are over.
Well, mathematically, they still have a tiny little glimpse. But for me, it's you gain confidence at these home games. You feel confident to beat a team like Surrey. But right now, it's not been a good game so far. I think you reset, refocus, and come out at your home court and produce.
Well, let's look back to positive experiences and excitement and engagement, which was the All-Star weekend. I say weekend, it was the All-Star game day.
Yeah.
And we saw the men's teams go head-to-head, north and south. The women's teams go north and south head-to-head. We also had a 3-point contest and a dunk contest. So if you weren't there, check this out.
Inside the Copper Box Arena on St. Patrick's Day, it is the 2024 Women's British Basketball League All-Star Game, and we are underway. Oh, wow, why not? Sets her feet, buries it. They can pass first, kick out. That's a thing of beauty. Deep range 3, and it drops again. Tammy Fack-Bentley now leading. Look at this. I thought she was going to take off. The bank must be open on Sunday. And look at this. And she pops a 3. Bucket. Wow. It is the North that gets it done. 99-81 is the final score.
Should we have a bit of fun? Let's have some fun. It was a three-point shootout. But now it's flight time as we present the slam dunk competition.
Oh, and you think, hold on. Oh, wow. Got Obi out of his seat. Uh-oh. All right, we're down to business. Josh Sharma, 7. Boom! Josh Sharma holding off Trajan Jacob.
We've now got the first presentation of the Hall of Fame.
They're starting to warm up a bit. JT, what do you expect? Little loose and easy the first 3 quarters and then get down to business in the 4th?
I think so. I think that's how it's got to go. Tough move from Jaron Holmes. Hey, he's so crafty with the ball, man. He's fun to play against, honestly.
Oh, boy. Oh! I would have liked to see Todd Green in the dunk contest. Here we go, alley-oop. Oh! Wham, bam, thank you, Sam. Give it up. Oh, there you go. Pipkins is not going to miss that one.
Go get that.
Go get it.
Hey! Another dime from McKenzie.
Ooh, Pipkins with a reverse flush. Oh, goodness sakes!
Hello, Rideau! Up top, Pipkins.
Back to back, Anderson.
Anderson, we know he can fly like that.
Matt Morgan, does he? Yes, he does.
He can fly like that. Look at him, he can't believe it himself. Get up, baby.
There you go. Petty's not going to miss that one. And you were talking about how friendly the Canadians are. Kimball just put it on Aaron Ryan. He's still talking to him.
Woo! Yeah, Todd Green putting his bid in for that dunk contest next year.
Kimball and Kinsey. I thought that was a pass. I thought he was going to go off glass to Brad Green.
That was left-handed, too. I've seen him make that before.
That's a poster.
Yeah, now we talked about that.
That's nice.
That's a layup right there. What I say, that's a layup.
Matt Morgan. Now let's keep an eye on his numbers.
Hey, Eddie's got it.
Eddie.
Oh, that's tough. Good pass from Teddy Buckets.
Devin Olison with a highlight dunk there. It is the South that does just enough to get the win, 149-116. Standing ovation for the fans here at the Copper Box Arena. What a show today.
29-39 is the score between the Manchester Giants and Surrey Scorchers. There's been one shining light though, and it's Abdul Mohammed in this ball game. He's got himself 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals and a block. Getting it done for the most part.
He has, and everything has been in rhythm, just like that 3 feet set. Nothing but net and then out in transition. He gets blocked here, but Mohammed sticking with it. And the putback.
Cleaning up the play. Well, a lot of work to do for both of these teams, and I'd love to have been a fly on the wall in both of their changing rooms to see what the coaches gave of their performances in that second quarter, because don't get me wrong, that first quarter was very much exciting as the Surrey Scorchers were in the lead 19-30.
I think as a competitor and an athlete, you know you should be better, you want better. And if I was self-managing myself, I think the self-talk needs to be, okay, that's the first half out of the way. Let's put that on the top shelf and come out and do a better performance, but only, you know, for your team. But individually, I think all of these guys are better than what that first half was.
Well, let's hope they've got it out of their system, Azania. My name's Tahi Aja, alongside Azania Stewart, taking you through this one, a pivotal matchup between these two teams, fighting for playoff positionings. Surrey Scorchers have that player position at the moment, with Manchester hunting for a win as they have this first possession here. Harris, it's almost stolen away by Surrey. Free ball goes up, rebound for Mohammed, his 6th rebound of the game, and he goes down here on his ankle. It's not looking good. And I think you noticed earlier on that he tweaked it in the game, Azania.
Yeah, he did, but I'm not sure. I feel like he kind of went out without anyone around him. But I wasn't looking at him because I was looking at the play ahead. But as the physio has come on the court, he's got to leave. Let's have a look here. Does he trip over himself? No, it just goes. Not good. That's not a good look.
And that, of course, is after the news that Bukwelu, the centre for the Surrey Scorchers, signed after the injury of Jordan Hunt. After an injury in practice, has gone out for the rest of the season, and Teo Gadengbe is checked into the game.
That's never good. I've seen a lot. It's like the little snipers taking out their legs. If nobody's around them or nothing has rolled their ankle, we'll keep an eye and try and figure that out. But he's going to have to be seen to. And Teo Gadengbe will come in. Super vet, fine wine.
Super vet, is that better than a normal vet?
Yeah, it is.
Super vet.
Once you're plus 35, I think you're a super vet.
Well, here is Gooden. Jameson. Nice bounce pass there. Jameson inside for 2. That was better composure.
That's much better. And that's Surrey basketball. That's what they need to get back to. Sharing the ball, get the ball inside, execute.
Nice hands from Jameson now, steals it away from Robertson, leaving him all alone. Jameson smokes the dunk. Gooden. Wang, he'll finger roll it in for 2.
Wang will show you how it's done. Finishes at the rim. And they call it timeout. Manchester want to stop the bleeding. Surrey's come out.
Coach Brian Simonian wants to talk it over with his team immediately. They huddle around the LED boards to talk it over.
And now we see Mohammed also just he's up on his feet, so I'm really happy to see that, and he's just pointing to his ankle, but I'm glad to see he's putting weight through it.
Hopefully it's something that can have a little look at for the Surrey Scorchers. I think Zania lacking sharpness. I know we spoke about these two teams, you know, realigning, getting together during that little break that we had for the All-Star. But it seems at this moment in time that it's not done either of these two teams any good. Is it taking them out of their rhythm, potentially?
Yeah, potentially that can be the case, you know, when you have too much of time off, too many cakes, too many, you know, chocolates and...
Cakes and chocolates.
Yeah, sometimes when you get out of your rhythm of training every day, practicing every day, I think sometimes that does happen where teams, they need that break. But for me, I think Surrey's come out a little bit better here in this third quarter. It's going to be important that Manchester, these next couple of possessions, that they execute.
And they are looking to execute. Stampley sets the screen for Anderson now. Ball screen for Anderson. Great work on the defensive end there from Josh Steele. Forces it out of Anderson's hands. Harris trying to find Lee. Does that. Mismatch here between him and Gooden, but the clock's winding down. Harris on the buzzer knocks it down for 3.
Well, Harris knew that the time was running down. They needed that to hear. They needed that bucket.
Well, it's interesting to note that Harris didn't actually play any minutes in the first half.
No, he didn't.
Here is Steele. Wang. Finds Ogadengbi in the corner.
Let's go.
Super vet.
Yep. Knew it. Looked good. His feet are set. Beautiful arcing shot. And just waited his turn.
Immediate response from behind the arc for the Surrey Scorchers. 7 for 15 from downtown. William Lee pulling up mid-range. Fight for the rebound. Jamieson gets onto it. Gooden trying to go around Lee. Does get the better of him here. Cam Gooden kicks it out. Ogadengbi again for 3. Rolls in and out of the rims into the hands of Nick Lewis.
Held my breath for that. I was thinking back to back.
Lewis. And Lee looking to feed Anderson inside, who had a mismatch against Gooden.
Good job by Teo Ogadengbi to come over and help that mismatch.
Steele to the reverse for 2, and it looks like Surrey Scorchers have found their form once again.
Fouls called. Jameson pushes Lee in the back.
Let's take a look at this sharp shooting then.
Here's the threes. And this right on time. Lefty.
Here is Anderson. In the hands of Harris. Anderson again in the corner, steps back for a 3 of his own. Rebounded by Stampley. Jalen Harris now runs into the wall, an offensive foul call. And there's a number of Surrey Scorchers fans who have made the long journey to Manchester's in the building. Great support from the Scorchers outfit.
Fantastic job by, there they are in the corner. Well done, Scorchers. They do such a good job at their hometown. They fill out the crowd, so in Guildford, and they've come on the road. But good job by Teo Ogadengbi getting his body, taking the hit. I told you a super vet just does, you know, things that are consistent, things that you can always rely on, and good minutes from him.
Jamison's got 3 personal fouls this game. He's headed to the bench. Gooden.
Manchester in a little bit of a zone.
That's stripped away. Harris. In and out dribble. Trying to find a way. As Wang collects it. Skips away from the defenders, and a nice inside hand reverse for 2.
That's pretty from Wang. That is classic batting at Wang. So strong, so fast, kicks into a 5th gear, and then finishing at the rim.
8 points personal for Wang. Anderson. Deep 3. Knocks it down, Jamel Anderson.
Really nice. An offense is struggling. Why not Anderson?
Gooden. Teo. Blocked away by Stampley. That's off of his foot, Teo Ogadengbi. So now Giants, they'll have the ball on the sideline. 15-point lead for the Surrey Scorchers. Joel Anderson trying to chip away at the deficit.
And that was a good job. Sees that Ogadengbi has stepped off of him, no hands up, just shoots that in rhythm. Good choice from him.
Lee. Lee for 3 now.
Guess they're going to shoot themselves back into this game.
One of the worst 3-point shooting percentages in the league. The Manchester Giants. Those two triples have closed the gap to 12. Ogadengbi, and he'll drill it. Anything you can do?
Guess we're having a 3-point shootout. When Ogadengbi has his feet set here. Really good shooter. Step back from Lewis.
Rebound from Stampley. Inside goes to the left hand. Misses that layup. Wang. Abdul Muhammad off his foot. Lewis trying to hand it off into Anderson. Too fancy. Wang. Kept alive there by Cam Gooden. Ogadengbi guarded tightly by Anderson. Josh Steele back to basket against William Lee.
That's nice.
Trying to go at him in the post, and Josh Steele with the fancy footwork.
Great poise, good patience by Steele. I thought he was going up the first time here. Hesitation, gets Lee off of his feet, sticks with it. Yes, and one goes to the line.
4 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in this one. Surrey Scorchers still in full control. Join us right after the break. Back to the action. Coach Lloyd Garner, whatever he said to his team, it seems to have worked, because they've scored 16 points so far compared to 9 in the second quarter. Josh Steele on the line, chance at an and one play, which he converts after putting in the work against William Lee. There's a 5 on the floor for the Manchester Giants right now. Here's William Lee in possession, guarded by Ogadengbi. Anderson. Back to basket, Anderson kicks it out. Nick Lewis, the 3, has only made 1 basket so far in this game, Nick Lewis, which is very uncharacteristic.
Yeah, really cooled off.
Muhammad backing down Nick Lewis. Puts that one up, but Stampley's just found the ball in his possession while his toes are on the end line.
See, I like that work, excuse me, down low from Mohammed, but then once you've drawn the defense, kick it out. Just kind of holding on to the ball. I get he's trying to, you know, out-muscle Lewis, but draw the defense, get the ball moving.
Robinson tries to skip it over to Mohammed. That's a backcourt violation. Manchester will earn it back. There are some technical issues for our viewers live on Valley Sports, so apologies for that if that's the case. Hopefully they'll be fixed for you shortly. But everywhere else, we're on point as the shot clock's winding down here for the Manchester Giants.
Do they know? They don't.
Lewis runs out of time. A really frustrating possession there, Azania.
Yeah, I'm frustrated and looking at coach. You know, how do you not know that? They don't even get a look at the rim. And now they turn over the ball and Surrey get another chance to add to this score. There's Coach Gardner.
Well, they play Newcastle tomorrow, Azania.
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be incredibly tough if they perform like this. Robinson.
And it's hard to play in Newcastle. Great fans up there.
Steele. That comes off of his knee, off the shoulder of William Lee, into the hands of Nick Lewis. Evan Walsh for 3. Bounces off the iron and a foul called off the ball. Pretty much that sequence of plays describes this game pretty well.
And is it the fact of Surrey's playing down to Manchester's struggle?
Well, look, this is often the case.
I've never seen Surrey play like this before.
Yeah, it is often the case. Not necessarily seen so much at professional level, but you can play down to your opponent's standard.
Yeah, no, I've been in games like that. It's really difficult, but you've got to prepare the same way. And there's a foul. You've got to prepare if you're playing, you know, the bottom of the league or the top of the league. You can't underestimate anyone. That's how you lose to a team that's at the bottom or just not ready. And I think Manchester have really struggled to get any sort of offensive flow. Nobody's really gone off. They're not playing off of each other. And Surrey's just kind of chipped away, and they had that bad second quarter, but much better in this third.
It's a completely opposite of what Brian Simonian said that his team had been working on in practice. Steele comes up with a defensive board. Now pushing forward here into the hands of Mohammed in the corner for 3. Bounces off the back of the iron, rebounded by Walsh. Anderson inside to William Lee.
Perfect.
Finishes for 2.
Yeah, that's probably been their easiest bucket for a really long time. But see what I mean? Move the ball around, get players cutting to the rim. Easy finish at the basket. More of that, please, Manchester.
Double-double now for William Lee. 10 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 steals. Steele, corner, Robinson knocks that one down from the corner.
You know, play great defense for 18 seconds, 19 seconds, and then just fall asleep. You know Surrey love to shoot the three-point line.
And that's Robinson's first bucket of the game as Walsh fires up a 3 in response, and under the bucket is Nick Lewis. Finishes for 2. Denby. This is that one, Lewis. Stampley. He'll knock down that 3. Nick Stampley.
That's 3 back-to-back offenses for Manchester. They got good defensive stop. Shot in rhythm, moved the ball. Now you can keep working on this.
Robinson skipped to the corner, back into the hands of Lawrence. Mohammed, Robinson, wide open 3 for Teo. This is that one, Lewis with the rebound.
Another defensive stop, Manchester.
One second differentiation between the shot clock and the game clock here. Nick Lewis with a crossover, driving, right hand, no good. The tip there from Stampley and the foul is called. Foul will be called on Teo Denby. 2 shots to come now for the Manchester Giants, who after those 2 free throws will be within 12 points again.
Yeah, and just went on a nice little run, putting together possession after possession, started on the defensive end. It's not going to be free throws, so it's going to be out of bounds.
It did look like Stampley was shooting the ball as that went up, but Foul called down on number 17, Robinson.
Okay, so we don't have any more fouls to give.
Nick Lewis will inbound on the baseline. 3.6. Anderson misses the first, gets the rebound, scores the second, and it is a 12-point game now. Somehow, some way, these two teams finish this quarter 47-59. Well, the fourth and final quarter is coming up right after this. William Lee, double-double for this man in the game. 10 points, 11 rebounds. Not the most efficient night for him, 4 for 12 from the field. But 12 points is the difference. There is a slight hope here for the Manchester Giants.
We had Lee for a guy to watch, so he's definitely done his job, but I talked about he needed to get himself going, but it's not enough. There's still 1 quarter left.
Nick Lewis picks that one out. Wang, way off target. Anderson going downhill. And now closes the gap to 10, Azania.
Yeah. Keeps the door open. I said this game was going to be a real close game. Last time they played, it was a 4-point game. Game before that, 2-point game.
Stolen away. Jamel Anderson pushing forward now. Nick Lewis, catch and shoot. What a time to make a 3. What a time for Nick Lewis to get hot. They close the gap to 7. Timeout call by head coach Lloyd Gardner. Wow, 9 minutes, 4 seconds on the clock. Azania, Manchester back in the game.
Well, to hear if this isn't Manchester all over. The up, the down, the roundabouts, the inconsistency, but they've come up here. Nice drive from Anderson. And then the next possession was Lewis in rhythm, splashes it home. And it's a game. They've got 9 minutes. It's a lot of time. Now Surrey need to just regroup.
Well, Coach Lloyd Gardner will be reinforcing to his team that we cannot allow this opposition to get hot. Even when we're playing poorly, we've got to see the game out.
I think it really is that third quarter. the end of the third quarter where Manchester definitely had the momentum. They had some good back-to-back defense stops, and then they executed on the offensive side. Was starting to, you know, get into a groove. Finally, it took them, you know, over half of basketball, 25 minutes to get that. Anderson, 19 points. There he is. Picked him out at the top of the game. How important his offense, and that's a lovely smile by him. But for me, Surrey need to come together and regroup after this timeout.
Well, here we go. 52-59. Surrey led in this game by as many as 19 points. Can Manchester do their best?
That's pretty from
to
Lawrence.
keep the climate? Yeah, Andrew
That's
Lawrence
pretty.
says nope.
Yeah, don't worry, boys.
Lewis. Stolen away by Padilla Wang. 1-on-1 with Evan Walsh. The foul is called. And 2 shots to come.
Really bad pass on the other end. Easy to dictate and steal. And then here Wang just takes his time. Just little Euro step and the foul.
Moments like this is just where you want to shake this Manchester Giants team. You've got yourselves back into the game. Run yourself a really simple, effective set. Something that's going to get you an open look. If you miss that shot, fine. But don't force it. Throw up something. Then, you know, force a turnover here. And now you give Surrey Scorchers the opportunity to create a bigger distance once again, as they're fortunate. Wang misses it. And Padilla Wang gets blocked there. They're very lucky because he could have put another couple points on the board. Evan Walsh. Driving inside. Evan Walsh finishing at the rim for 2. Better from Evan Walsh.
Yeah, really tough move. Little hop, skip and jump through the rim.
Lawrence, wide open lane and finishes for 2.
Giant help defense came over.
Evan Walsh going to the reverse there, run out of room, and he'll get 2 free throws here. Padilla Wang.
Now both of these teams going up and down really quickly here. Walsh looked to pass but had nobody, so decided to go up. Good decision from him. And a lovely shot from the cameraman, thank you.
Evan Walsh. Down the first of those. Plenty of time left for Manchester to get back in this one. Two for 2 for Walsh. Stop required from Manchester. Jameson waits for Lawrence. Lawrence for 3, and he's caught fire now in the last few possessions. Andrew Lawrence stepping up big time for the Scorchers.
Yeah, the vet. International EB player. Now into a 3-2 or, yeah, 3-2 zone.
Lawton. Walsh. And one. Oh, that's an offensive foul call. No, it hasn't. Evan Walsh gets the bucket to go, and 1. He'll go to the line.
Look at this. Oh, here's the 3 from Andrew Lawrence. Has his feet set, nothing but net, strings it in. And on the other end, Walsh just went up for that rebound. Free throws are gonna be important though. You gotta make sure you get all them easy buckets at the free throw line.
Jameson. Same action again here. Lawrence couldn't get free this time though. Padilla Wang keeps it in their half. Lawrence, Cooper to beat the buzzer. And Cooper does beat the buzzer.
Gosh. Cooper reminds me of like JJ Redick, like constantly moving, makes the defense chase him everywhere. He just needs a split second to get that shot up. Good job from Cooper.
Walsh. To the right hand, Walsh just throwing it up here. One-dimensional basketball now. Substitution checking in for the Surrey Scorchers is Josh Steele. Well, we're going to have to start thinking about it soon, Azania, so I'm just going to plant the seed, the player of the game.
Thanks.
Let us know in the comments on the British Basketball League YouTube channel. Get involved with us on social media at British Basketball League. At British Basket M on X, formerly known as Twitter. Let us know your thoughts about who should be the player of the game today. Lawrence, that one's off the mark.
Nothing but Manchester Air, he's got to walk that one off.
Walsh. Miss. Walsh for three. Oh, knocking it down. Evan Walsh coming to life. I have to say, the rotation has been absolutely bizarre from coach Brian Simonian. You know, Jalen Harris, we didn't see him in the first half. We've only seen him for 4 minutes so far in this half. Austin Lawton, we saw him in the first half, then he's been missing, and now he's only come back into the game. Vital stop there from Lawton. Evan Walsh skipping it to the corner. Here's Jamel Anderson. Lawton, back to basket. Lawrence is waiting to pick his pocket.
Nope.
Lawton misses that one.
Fades away, he's got to go to the rim.
Mohammed missing. The foul is called here. 2 shots to come. Foul called on Austin Lawton. Coach Brian Simonian leading the case to no avail. Case closed, says Kate Unsworth. The foul's over the back there. Austin Lawton over the top of Shaquan Jameson. Over the back foul.
Your throw line. Makes the first. Just keeps the Manchester at bay. They had that huge lead. So important.
Jameson misses the second. Another 3 ball from Manchester. He's good to go. Stampley this time. Putting his stamp on the game. Nick Stampley for 3. 7 points for you, 5 rebounds for him. Jameson. Foul called. 2 shots to come for Jameson. He goes to the line again.
Fumbled the ball, but managed to regain it and go up strong. And it's funny that this is, you know, we've waited this long, 35 minutes of basketball to get an energy and a buzz and a, you know, and a, what's the word I'm looking for? More of an assertive and way of playing. I think both of these teams are finally being assertive, being, you know, can you help me out here? What's the word I'm looking for?
Looking for, they've actually woken up. Is
yes,
what you're trying to say.
Thank you. They've woken up, and I needed this 35 minutes ago. This is the energy, this is the intensity. People flying, boxing out, executing.
Lewis, that's a big screen from Anderson, and an offensive foul has been called.
I think he was there. I mean, it was just tough. You know, I thought he was set quite early. It just hurt good.
Warning given to head coach Brian Simonian on the bench. Cooper misses the 3. Stampley with the rebound. Nick Lewis. What a fine room, and does find room, Nick Lewis. And another timeout called, 4:37 on the clock. In fact, we're going to have a quick break right here, but Manchester putting on the pressure. Coach Brian Simonian trying to urge his Manchester team to muster the motivation to close the gap. Nick Lewis applying pressure to Gooden. Here's Jameson. Wang. Mohammed fakes the pass. Stolen away now here by the Giants. Anderson, no look to Evan Walsh, and the finish is good for two. Here come Manchester.
Good job, Manchester. Just making Surrey second guess their offense.
And the turnover almost is deflected, in fact. Surrey Scorchers ball, 16 seconds on the shot clock. Lloyd Garner will be increasingly frustrated with his team's performance. Wang. Wang step back three. No good. That's out of bounds. Surrey ball on the baseline.
I don't like that offense to hear from Surrey. It's just Wang. There's no movement. The ball hasn't been touched by anyone else. Hasn't gone inside. Hasn't made the defense work. It's just Wang coming down and shooting it. Get back to what's been working so well. What put you up 19? Now you're only up 4. Get the ball moving. Get the offense, feeling good, and not just letting Manchester sit in their defense and not move.
Gooden will inbound here, and the floor is wiped. Gooden to inbound. Steele gets it out. Gooden comes off the screen from Jameson. Stampley goes out to him. Jameson, great work, and a foul is called. And Kate Unsworth watching the bench, and Coach Brian Simonian with eagle eyes. There's Dan Clark sitting in the stands, his knees in a very awkward position because he is 7 foot tall.
And he's got a paper airplane of the stats, which I know he just can't wait to throw in the air. Pretty much letting out his Surrey team this big lead. And now you can feel a bit of nerves from Surrey. It's a little bit hot potato. No, you shoot it. No, you shoot it. They're out of rhythm. They're out of offense. They're missing the free throws. And then the momentum is back. You've given this little taste of Manchester to win this game. They've left the door open, and it's just completely swung the other way.
Jameson's missed both. The general manager for the Surrey Scorchers, Great Britain legend, Dan Clark in the stands. Here is Evan Walsh. Trying to find room here, finds Nick Lewis. Nick Lewis for three. And a foul is called off the ball here. Who will that foul be called on?
Sorry.
Yeah, and it's going to be called on
0.
Abdul Mohammed. Endline possession for the Manchester Giants now. The third team foul, I believe, for the Surrey Scorchers. Here's Anderson. Oh, and Stampley turned his back there, and Evan Walsh has to pick it up to ensure it doesn't go all the way to the baseline, and the ball goes back to half court. Still a 4-point game here.
What's Stampley doing there?
21-13, the quarter score. Lawrence. Gooden. Jameson. Wow, absolutely ploughed underneath the bucket. Stampley and Lawton. Sadie put his hands up straight.
Stop
there,
it,
Stampley.
Stop it. What are you talking about? You left your feet. Here he is.
Oh, he did go up straight. He did go up straight to be fair to...
Okay, great, but you left your feet and you just jumped on a player. Okay, you can go up and down, but you can't hit the player.
Well, to be fair, if
it's
Jameson's
a foul.
shooting from the free throw line is anything to go by, is what we call a good foul, right?
Yeah.
So far in this game, 2 for 7 from the free throw line, 28%. Jameson not having much luck, but his free throw shooting needs to come good now. If the Scorchers are going to avoid a mishap here, first is good. Can he get the second? Zaquan Jameson makes the second. 6-point game. In-arena announcer trying to get the Giants going. Their fans. Screens come over the top. Evan Walsh has room. Short shot for him. Stampley. Offensive board. And he finishes for 2. Nick Stampley closes the gap back to 4 points. 70-74.
Great job by Stampley. That was a huge rebound. Just stayed poised and finished.
Gooden comes around the screen. Gooden rebounded by Stampley. Walsh trying to find Anderson. One-on-one with Lawrence. Double teamed. Gets it to Lewis. Lewis drawing in the defense. Walsh keeps the play alive. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Stampley way off. And that's an end-line ball for the Surrey Scorchers. 2 minutes, 6 seconds remaining in this one. Lawrence lays it in for 2.
Lovely finish.
And the play is stopped to ensure the floor is quite clean.
I'm going to give him player of the game. He has been on it. He's been out there on time.
Well, it is slim pickings for player of the game candidates when it looks at the Surrey Scorchers lineup.
And also, I just don't know who's going to win, so I can't really pick yet.
Well, the fans, they can decide who they think is the player of the game. Here is Lewis. Anderson moves the ball now to William Lee. Jamel Anderson coming off the dribble. Josh Steele switches onto him. One-on-one with Josh Steele. Jamel Anderson trying to force the play.
Great defense by Steele. That matchup I've really enjoyed this evening.
Lawrence. One. Number 4, Lawrence versus number 4, William Lee. Andrew Lawrence, big time triple. Is that the dagger?
Huge. He's had a couple of those big time.
Gladiators, but of course the Surrey Scorchers, they will take on the Newcastle Eagles on the road. 7:45 live on Twitch and on TikTok. The Cheshire Phoenix face off against the Bristol Flyers on Saturday. And on Sunday, the B-Brawn Sheffield Sharks take on the Newcastle Eagles. The Plymouth City Patriots face off against the Leicester Riders. That was their last victory, was against the Leicester Riders, who will now look to bounce back after that huge loss against the Bristol Flyers. For 1 minute 9 seconds, Surrey now lead by 9.
Yep, that was a massive hit by Lawrence. Huge. He's come up with wonderful clutch plays. And Manchester have made a push. He's just come in, steadied the ship.
Anderson finds Walsh. Hesitation. Evan Walsh finishes at the rim. The foul is called. Nick Lewis called for that foul. That'll be his second personal foul, Nick Lewis. Team foul trouble. Padilla Wang goes to the free throw line. He makes his first free throw. Padilla Wang will take his tally to 10 points, 8 rebounds. This is the second. Ball moves forward. Evan Walsh is fouled. He'll now shoot 2, and Abdul Mohammed again.
Gosh.
Same angle. He seems to be trying to play through this at the moment.
Yeah, and that one I think just got kicked. And sometimes it's like that when you've got a little tweak. That one's going to be sore. That's giving an ice bucket right now. Take the shoe off, wrap ice on it, because you've got a game
Tomorrow.
You don't have much time to rest. You don't have much time to recover. It's an important part. I'm thinking about potentially giving him player of the game. They've got to take that shoe off and ice it down. Look, the physio has it ready for him, so that's good. Walsh doing a really good job getting to the bucket very quickly. Then, you know, time isn't on their side.
That was point number 16 for him, coming off the bench. Point number 17 too, in just over 21 minutes of action for Evan Walsh. Surrey Scorchers will look to use the clock here. Lawrence. Steele gets it back. Time management here. Evan Walsh. Apologies, Jamal Anderson trying to got a foul. Josh Steele in the corner, nails it for 3. Takes him to double digits, Josh Steele.
Great job by Steele. They used the clock, moved the ball, and Steele comes up big. They've had 2 back-to-back clutch threes by Lawrence and Steele. Manchester They need to go quick.
Foul called again this time. We called him Padilla Wang. 2 shots to come now for Nick Lewis. Nick Lewis makes that free throw. And Padilla Wang has stepped over here. A technical foul called here on number 5 Stampley as well. So 1 free throw to go. Well, it looked like Padilla Wang, or the referee signaled that Padilla Wang stepped over the line here, but a technical foul was called on Stampley. There's the free throw for Wang.
Here it is.
And I think it might be Stampley being too close. And he put his hands over the line. I think he got a technical foul as a result, and Nick Lewis has called drew a foul immediately, and that sends Wang back to the free throw line. .7 on the clock.
We should have known it was going to be a wild up and down from jump ball. They didn't like the basketball.
Let's be very clear about what you say about up and down. Okay. Do you mean up and down in quality? Do you mean up and down in terms of pace, scoring abilities?
All of above.
All of the above.
All of above. But Surrey hit that free throw, Wang. That was important.
Lewis happily on his way to the bucket to score for 2. He takes his tally to 14 points. 10 rebounds, double-double for Nick Lewis. 6 assists, 4 steals. Didn't have a particularly great first half as the Surrey Scorchers will dribble this one out. 86-78 victory for the Surrey Scorchers. They will now look to Plymouth, taking on the Leicester Riders to confirm their place in the playoffs, as the Manchester Giants technically still have a chance to advance based on Bristol Flyers' record in the league. But from a performance such as that from the Manchester Giants, it's potentially not looking too hopeful. Surrey Scorchers see it out. And your player of the game, Azania?
I'm going to go with that man there, Mohammed. I think he had some really clutch moments. 12 points, 8 rebounds. I can also give a shout out to Josh Still, also was very good. But Mohammed, I feel like he started the game very consistent, very strong, shot his shots in rhythm, in rotation. And there's Josh Still, also a shout out to him, who played very well and had 11 points.
Well, without a doubt, Josh Steele was definitely involved in that conversation. Had a better shooting night overall, 4 for 6 from the field, but Abdul Mohammed a little bit more statistical, registering across the board. 12 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals and a block. And we are with him right now, I believe, courtside. Abdul Mohammed there with his teammates. He's got ice strapped to him as well. Abdul, can you hear us down there?
Can hear loud and clear, loud and clear.
Mr. Abdul Mohammed, I mean, tonight's game was not pretty overall. It was a really tough watch. However, sometimes you need to win the games ugly, and you did that tonight.
Man, everybody knows that plays basketball. A road win is the hardest win, and just to get it any way you can, you'll take it any way you can. So I'm glad we got the W and glad to go home. Go to Newcastle and keep this thing going.
Well, yeah, you put it right there. You've got to go to Newcastle now. That's going to be a really tough journey tomorrow.
No, of course. Newcastle's a very talented team. They got a lot of weapons on the offensive end, but we've been up there once and got the job done, so I like my chances.
How are you feeling, Mohammed? It's Azania Stewart here. Really banged up. I feel like Manchester just kept, hitting you. How are you feeling right now? I see some ice on that leg.
Yeah, no, I'll be all right. Just gonna get with the treatment guy and Kush, so I'll be all right. But yeah, a little banged up, but that's just basketball. That's British basketball.
12 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals and a block. Your personal performance. How do you feel that your performance helped your team to victory today?
No, it's the guys on our team, man. They're just so unselfish. I felt like the game just came to me, and with them just finding me in the right positions, and I give thanks to them. But yeah, it's just finding me at the right positions, and I felt like I just did a good job being confident in my shot and my abilities on the offensive end.
Perfect. Well, good luck tomorrow, Mohammed. You're going to need it. Well done today.
For sure. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Abdul. Well, let's take a look at the full-time stats for you then, Azania. What are you seeing on your screen?
Well, the turnovers was really a big part of this game. 18 for the Scorchers, but they managed to shoot the same percentage from the three-point line, 44% that they did on the 2 points. Manchester, 8 from 22, managed to do a little bit better as they were 1 from 8 at the start. But for me, rebounding game, they won that 43 to 42. And then the assist pretty even. But for me, I think Scorchers can learn so much from this game, leaving the door open. They were up 19 and Manchester just came back in, but they figured it out.
Well, I believe we're now courtside with Coach Lloyd Garner. Well, Lloyd, I mean, it wasn't pretty, but nonetheless, you got the job done.
No, wasn't. Felt a little leggy second half. Yeah, I heard Azania's comments there, and you guys nailed it. It wasn't pretty, it's a lot to learn. Had a lead. Yeah, we've got to learn to put that stranglehold on teams and finish out games better than we did today. Felt like we'd played 2 games in 4 weeks, really. We didn't have that rhythm.
Coach, what did you say to your team at halftime? Because you were wonderful in the first quarter, scored 30 points, and then struggled in the second. What was said at halftime?
Yeah, we felt that we kind of overcomplicated things in the second quarter, that, we had opportunities to run. We talked about trying to get out in transition, play with advantage, and we perhaps overthought things. So we had open shots. Guys perhaps worried with shooting a lot of threes, trying to get better, when in actual fact we probably should have just shot it with confidence. Felt like, again, that third quarter, we started to find that rhythm. But then, a couple of guys obviously fasting today, first game for them doing that, and I felt that affected our energy levels, being a guy down without Emeka as well. Just trying to find that rotation wasn't quite right for us. But obviously it's a double-header weekend for us as well, so we're looking a little bit towards tomorrow as well.
Well, it is that tough trip to the Newcastle Eagles. You'll be glad to get that performance out of your system, without a doubt. Now, as you mentioned, of course, it's been announced now, Abukwelu is going to be out for the season. Are you going to look back into Luke Okasieme and Elliot Bailey to kind of rotate for Saquon Jameson as well now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Elliot does a great job. Earlier in the season, he played a little bit out of position for us. He'll do the same again, I'm sure. And, as I said in pre-game, great opportunity for Luke to come in and keep building, keep growing. He's done a tremendous job in practice. And hopefully that's what, we've got to become. We've got to give young British guys a chance. Would have liked to get him in a little bit more today, and that's on some of the other guys as well. Like we talked about, if they're not at their best, it's hard for Luke to come in and get minutes. So, yeah, that's what we'll be going with. Those guys are ready. Teo as well, obviously stepped up a few sort of ugly minutes at the 5, changing things up for us as well. We'll have to try and be a little bit more creative.
And lastly, one result in the standing, should we say, away from victory, I should say, getting into the playoffs. We now wait to see if Plymouth City Patriots can defeat the Riders. If they lose to the Riders, then you guys are confirmed through to the playoffs. Are you keeping one eye on that game?
No, I'll be thinking about Newcastle tomorrow. As I said before, that for us, we were really pleased to get the win today. Yeah, ugly, but for where we've been as a club as well, to win ugly is still a win. So We'll take those, and now we can hopefully, like we said, look up. We've got Newcastle, we've got Bristol, we've got Sheffield around us. We feel like we've got a chance in and against those teams if we start to play the way we think we can in these last few games.
Well, good luck tomorrow, Coach, up in Newcastle. Well done tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Head coach Lloyd Gardner there for us. Well, let's take a look then at the story of the half. Well, it was a much better scoring half of basketball compared to the first. And Teo Ogadengbe there playing those ugly minutes at the 5.
Yeah, and that's the thing about a vet. He doesn't complain, just comes in, he's solid. He knows exactly what he needs to do, and it's right. It's ugly, but those minutes are needed.
Jamel Anderson tried as he might to keep his team in the game. 19 points, 5 assists, 3 steals for Jamel Anderson. It wasn't enough to get the job done. Evan Walsh was also huge off the bench for the Manchester Giants. He had 17 points. And Nick Lewis started to heat up in the latter stages of the game with 14 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, a double-double for him. But Andrew Lawrence, Azania,
was huge. Andrew Lawrence also another vet stepping up, hitting big shots. But I didn't feel like the game started to become exciting and how hard they were playing until these moments. I feel like they were just kind of lowing through the game. The second quarter was a disaster, and then at this last 6 to 4 minutes, they started to, really play with energy, play with poise and intention. Here, Manchester, they make their run. This is what this is what frustrates me, because there are moments and glimpses that they are great, and then there's moments that they just, fall apart.
Well, there we have it. The final score for you, 78-86. More games, though, coming up this weekend. Tomorrow, live on Sky Sports, the Leicester Riders taking on the Caledonia Gladiators. Then, for the rest of the weekend, live on the British Basketball League YouTube channel, Newcastle Eagles taking on the Surrey Scorchers tomorrow. On Saturday, I'll be alongside Mike Tutt watching the Cheshire Phoenix take on the Bristol Flyers. That should be a great game. And on Sunday, the Beaver and Sheffield Sharks take on the Newcastle Eagles, and the Plymouth City Patriots take on the Leicester Riders. Let's look at those all-important standings in the league. There you see the Surrey Scorchers leaping up to 7th. Manchester Giants now kind of wait to see in technicalities. If Bristol Flyers don't win the remainder of their games and Manchester Giants win, then they have the slightest of chances to get through to the playoff competition. But that is it for now. Zania, your final thoughts on today's game?
I think I'm going to finish with a positive, and Surrey moves up to 7th. They don't want to sit in that 8th slot where they're going to have to play the #1 London Lions. So for them, keep building, learn from these mistakes, watch film. They've got to have a short-term memory as they play Newcastle tomorrow.
Well, that's it from myself, Tahi Hadja, and Azania Stewart. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you're watching all around the world. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for more British Basketball League Championship action.